In life, it is not the failures that really count, but it is how you bounce back. Because failures are bound to come. Unbidden, uncalled for, they are going to be there. So you got to learn pretty early, as to how to bounce back quickly. And this sort of mindset really helps that, okay, I'm falling short today, but I can get better. This is not my final sort of state. I'm work in progress, and today I'm not there, so I'll learn this thing. I'll do whatever it takes to get to the next level tomorrow. And I think that is something that really brings in hope, and with hope comes joy, and with everything becomes positive, and kids start working in a positive way, and then you support them, and you grow in the process as well.
All right. Welcome, Sam. Welcome, Meeta. It's always nice to see you. I always wanted to talk to you together, and this is an opportunity. And thank you, Sam. You took time from your busy, busy schedule.
Always a pleasure.
And it's my pleasure to see you both together here. So last time I met Meeta, we were talking about music, and then we were talking about, she said, quality of life. So obviously, quality of life happens when a couple is in sync, right? That's what happens, right? Otherwise, we keep like, okay, if one is going in one direction, so to support each other. So to ask you a question, Sam, can you tell me what was your philosophy of life? The way you grew your journey of your life. Has it always been the same, or can you just explain to me what it is?
Thank you for answering the question. I think it is one of the most important questions that everybody needs to ask themselves. And my philosophy has got a few elements to it. I think the most overreaching element, or the most important element, I would say, is I take responsibility for myself and whatever is happening to me.
Okay.
And from that flows a lot of other things. But that I can say is the overreaching, or the big umbrella principle. So if you take responsibility for, and if you think that whatever is happening in this world, in your world or in my world, is due to me. So that means that I try to improve myself constantly. I constantly try to become a better version of myself, because I know that if anything needs to happen, it is I who I'm going to make it happen. Or if anything I need to make, need to change or better in my life, or in my environment, or in my world, it is up to me. So in all aspects, I strive for becoming better. Not maybe the best, but a better version than I was yesterday.
Yes.
And it can be professionally, it can be in my social interaction, it can be in the way I interact with my kids or with my friends, it's the way I manage my time. So everything, it sort of goes into all aspects of my life.
Okay.
And apart from that, I think a couple of other things that have been always with me is that I try to be rational, and I try to be logical in my approach to life, because life always throws these curved balls at you. It doesn't go always as per plan.
Yes.
You plan something, and then something else happens, and you need to either correct your course, or you need to actually abort whatever you're doing, try something else, or you need to look at different options and choose something. So being rational and being logical always helps. I don't say that it is easy under all circumstances, but that is what I strive to be.
Especially if there are pressures involved, right? Sometimes.
Yes.
With growing family and kids and
Yeah.
everything. So Meeta, what do you think? Do you agree with Sam?
Yeah, I agree with him and what he is saying. I have seen him in everyday life. I mean,
Yes.
he follows those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my if you ask me, is that my philosophy is, I mean, all these things are there, but the philosophy in general is having a good life. When I was a kid, I was a teenager, I came to know about a book. I think, if I'm not wrong, it is written by the first woman of female judge in India.
Okay.
She wrote a book that A Good Life or A Great Life. I didn't read the book, but I remember the name of the book, and I thought that, everybody that time, and during at teenage years, you tend to read books about sad things.
Sad things.
Yeah. So I started thinking that, yeah, this lady is different, and I remembered the name of the book. And later on, when I matured, that time, there was no philosophy. My philosophy was to study and get a great job. So at this point, I remember all these things, and that is my philosophy, that having a good life. I mean, having a good life encompasses everything, which encompasses having a good family, having a good education, doing good in your job up to your potential, having good friends, and when you go having fun party, and you will have fun talk as well as serious talk, bringing up your kids. So everything encompass sorry the good having a good life
Yeah.
encompasses everything. So that is my philosophy. And I also know that bad things will come, but the thing is, if again, another quote is that life will give you a lemon, but you have to make lemonade out of it. And another thing also I try to do, which is again part of having great life, which actually Sukanto also mentioned about making a better version of myself, is that self development. In order to do that, you have to evolve over time. For that, you have to learn either new things or relearn the old things you have forgotten. So that is also another aspect of having a good life. To try to learn something, try to achieve something, however small it is, and I apply it to my daily life also, with my hobbies, or with my other serious things, like teaching my kids something, or planting a plant, or making a new vegetables, or reading a good book. So I follow these things
Basically,
in my
keep
life.
on improving.
Keep on improving.
So, Sam, just to think about it, did you evolve? Was it always you, always when you were a teenager, did you have this philosophy, or did it evolve over time as you kind of became older and you got more into your career path and everything? Um,
I think it did evolve, and I did learn from many great teachers, and not only formal teachers from my school and college, but from my bosses, from many of my dad's friends, who used to come over to our home. Many of them were virtual. Many of them I read in books, and some of the great characters of novels. I picked up things from them, or attitudes from them, and it has constantly evolved and grown. And I nowadays, I mean, I keep I try to impart this to my kids and many of the younger generation, and I sort of try to put it simply, and I say that there are four main pillars that you need to take care of to have a good life, as Mita was mentioning. For me, they are very simple. And first is health. The second is money matters, your finances. The third is your relationships. You know, and the fourth is self-actualization. Understanding what is this all about? Why am I here? And you got to give time, allocate time, and think and grow in that direction as well. So if you want to expand, health is obvious, I mean, it encompasses so many things, and unless you have that, nothing else makes sense.
Yeah.
So it is all important. Of course, there are strategies, and now there are a lot of resources available as to what sort of diet you should have, what sort of exercise you should have, how much rest you should have, and all those all things to take care of your health, to have this thing. and it is not one size fits all. I mean, it's got, you need to
That's
try
true.
things
Yeah.
and see what fits you and your unique situation. The second is, if you have to live in this world, you need money, and not only money, but you need to have your finances and your financial sort of systems in order. And it is, as you grow older, it becomes complex. So you got to see about, you need to budget your spending, you need to see where your cash flows are coming from, what is your earning, how it is going to change over time. As you get, as you get older, or this thing, you need to plan about, your estate, how you're going to sort of plan your will, and all financial matters. It's very, very important, because if you don't have that in order, it is going to cause so much of stress. It's going to really impact all other aspects of your life.
Affect your health also.
Affect your health, affect all your relationship, affect your actual work and self-actualization. Relationships, it's again, it's again very, very important, especially with the few close people in your life. If you have a spouse, if you have children, if you have parents, if you have close friends, it's very important to keep them close to you and be close to them, and sort of have all the other things that you need to do to keep the relationship vibrant and alive and meaningful and joyful. There are many relationships that sort of stop having any joy or fun in that. So you should look at that.
Look at that. And you said health is most important, because if you're healthy, then
Yes.
you can,
Yes.
and then also finance is also important,
Yes.
because if there's a finance stress, then
Oh yeah.
you're going to worry too much about everything,
Oh
right?
yeah. That spoils everything. Health, finance, and relationships. If anything is just wrong or anything is amiss, then it just clouds your entire life and your entire this thing. It almost puts a dark blanket over you, and you are totally sort of wrapped in that, in dealing with that, and just 10, 15 years can just go by, and
Yeah.
you cannot be this thing.
So dealing with stresses, Meeta, like for example, with the growing family, and as we all grow older, there are sometimes small health issues, or there's always, when you have teenagers, they have mood swings sometimes, or college admissions, or your ideas not. Kids want to, they have their own ideas. They want to pursue their dreams sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that sometimes? Like, how do you start convincing them, or do you think, okay, why don't you give me your ideas, and I'll see, maybe it works with my ideas?
Yeah, I'll start with saying that I'm not a perfect person. Nobody can be perfect. I cannot be a perfect mom, perfect housewife, perfect friend. I also have my, qualities which I also feel that I should do better in those qualities. But having said that, I have got another character, I think, which is very useful to me. I'm a very optimistic person. For I'm discovering that about myself. I always see glass as half full. So if my kids or me, I have failed in the project, my immediate thing is, okay, what is the next project coming? What is the next step? So let's go to the next step, or let's go to the alternative and just again try it. So for me, that if there's a famous quote is that in our language, Bengali, that if you don't get it by trying only once, you have to try 100 times before you get it. So that is my attitude. But of course, there are times when I think that everything is falling apart. That kind of thing comes. I used to be more perturbed when I was younger, but now, I mean, from the life experience and using my glass half full attitude, I just keep trying. If I'm failing in this, try it 100 times and take an alternative approach. I have to do it. I mean, I have to get it done. With my kids also, I never lose hope. If they are not doing good in this area, keep trying. I try to embed that in them. Sometimes they don't agree with me. Okay, then do this, do that. So that is the attitude which helps me a lot.
I've noticed that too. You're very positive, like a very optimistic person.
Yes.
And that, yeah.
And
So
I'm very positive about the people around me also. If somebody is telling, okay, this person has this negative quality, I always internally I think that why I like that person, she or he has this quality. So I apply that not only to myself, I apply it to others also. So that gives me a lot of enjoyment, lot of peace.
So regarding kids, do you mostly agree on topics, or sometimes, it's like
In some areas, it's
decision
like normal
making?
couple. Some areas we
Yeah.
disagree, some areas we agree. As we are maturing, I think our agreements are becoming more
More,
than
yes.
disagreement.
Yeah.
And if we don't agree, we discuss among ourselves. Then either he tells approach his approach to the kids directly, and I do that, or together we decide on something, and then we tell the kids that these things you are doing right, this is not right.
Especially I've seen, like, with our Indian kids, Desi kids, it's sometimes confusing because we are, like, real, you can call it generation gap, right? So Sam, do you ever feel that way? Like sometimes, like, you're communicating something, but it's your value, but kids' value is slightly different, or do you usually?
It does happen that way, but then if you explain it to them, and if you have open sort of a relationship communication with your kids, then they often they get to see your point of view, and often I get educated myself, and I see, aha, that's what he meant. Okay, that's how it is being done nowadays, and I also see their point. So we come to a middle ground.
Yeah.
But as Mita was saying, I would like to say that I try to instill this quality in my kids of them being a possibility thinker. So not having a fixed mindset, in the sense that, like, one of the common things we sort of deal with kids is failures and disappointments. It happens in life, when this thing, you're trying something and you are trying to join your college football team, and you don't make it. And it's very easy to think that, oh, I'm no good. It was not meant to be. I'm never going to be a good football player. Or you can think that I am not a good football player today, but if I put in effort, and if I'm determined, and if I have a plan, in a year, but then by the time next year comes around, I'll make the cut. So I have the possibility, or I can learn the things that are needed and better myself, and I can make it next year or next month or next day or the next time around. So not thinking, because in life it is not the failures that really count, but it is how you bounce back, because failures are bound to come, unbidden, uncalled for. They are going to be there. So you got to learn pretty early, as to how to bounce back quickly. And this sort of mindset really helps. That okay, I'm falling short today, but I can get better. This is not my final sort of state. I am work in progress, and today I'm not there, so I'll learn this thing. I'll do whatever it takes to get to the next level tomorrow. And I think that is something that really brings in hope, and with hope comes joy, and with everything becomes positive, and kids start working in a positive way, and then you support them, and you grow in the process as well.
So being a parent, of kids is always, like, I'm a parent myself, and I've seen that. So it's sometimes parents play, like, what is called good cop, good or bad. Is that, do you ever try that?
We are guilty of doing that, but I think that we get caught. So our kids, they understand us so well. In general, we try not to do that. We always like what Shukanta
discuss it
told,
before.
It's it's another way is that optimistic. If you have to be optimistic, if you have failed in that, then do this.
Keep trying.
Keep trying. But we try not to impose. We have the good fortune in this country, especially that there are lots of opportunities.
Yes.
If you don't want to study medicine, even though I wanted you to study medicine, you can study political science. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever makes you
yeah, but try to do something in
Yeah,
your life
something you're passionate about.
you're passionate about. Of course, you cannot, you can be passionate about something, but that may not be a practical thing. You can be passionate about sand art, but you have to do something
Yeah,
to
something.
earn your livelihood also. Those are
Yeah.
practical things that also we tell them that don't lose sight of that. Yes, you can depend on us. We will be like rocks in your life
Yes.
forever as long as we are here. But you have to try to be self-sufficient, not dependent on us. Because if you're dependent on us, you will not get that happiness. So try to achieve something with your passion and in other things also, so that you can become happy.
And San, you can you like summarize a little bit of your professional journey, like how it went through, like what did you do,
Sure.
and and then maybe Amita, I can ask you also.
Sure. Yeah, but before I go there, I would like to just add to what Meeta said that Meeta is more, hands-on with the kids. So she has to often discipline them for not putting things or the dirty clothes in the, hamper, like sort of, and or why haven't you left your dirty dishes out there? Why don't you
Yeah.
clean them? I mean, things like that. I often and I don't usually sort of interfere in that. So she deals with that.
That's
and
her department.
That's her department. Yes. And
In that respect also, I'm an easygoing mom. I'm not that much I don't try to discipline them that much.
coming back to my the question you asked about my sort of professional this thing, and so I'll just give a very briefly. Um, I was obviously born in India, and I did my education in India. So I went to a Jesuit school, back in India, and that they instilled a lot of, I think, very good philosophies of life in my mind. The Jesuits, they are absolutely well known for that, and they did a wonderful job, and I have so much respect for them. I hear about all these things about priests over here, but the priests who taught us, I never saw anything, even closely resembling that, with
Yeah.
them. They were just wonderful.
Okay.
After that, I did my engineering from IIT Bombay, and I then joined a very big truck manufacturing company in India. It's called Telco.
Okay.
And it's by the Tatas, which is one of the very reputed groups, and they were a wonderful business group, and I learned a lot from them.
Okay.
And I joined there in manufacturing as a young graduate engineer, and very quickly, not only I rose through the ranks, but I became a manager, and I was managing entire shop floor, making axles. So I was in the axle plant. But then I kind of got a bit bored with that, and computers were just coming in. And that's the time when I said, hey, I sort of know how this operation works. And you are building systems in computers where you're going to actually mimic that in the computer systems. Why don't I go over there and help you build that? And that's how I started collaborating with them. I became very interested. I joined the computer sort of department.
Okay.
It was also a time when the US were really looking for people with my kind of skills,
Okay.
So people who understand technology and who are hands-on with technology, but people also who can explain it to people, to other people who are managers and who are leaders or who are business sort of decision makers.
Okay.
They often don't understand technology, and often there's a huge gap. And if you can bridge the gap between technology and the people who speak business, and you speak both their languages, then I think there's a place for you anywhere and everywhere. And that's how I came over to the United States. I worked through a couple of big, sort of companies, mainly in what is called CRM, that is customer relationship management.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I formed my own company in customer relationship management,
Okay.
which was dealing with field service,
All right.
which is if you have physical equipment in the field, how does a company support, repair, replace, do routine maintenance on that?
Okay.
And I'm talking about big things, like aircraft engines, or X-ray machines or MRI machines. Like
Okay.
they need very sophisticated maintenance and regular checks and calibration and all that sort of stuff. So I made a software which does that in the cloud.
Okay.
And ultimately, this company was acquired by GE.
Okay.
And so that was a great sort of moment in my life when GE sort of agreed to buy this company. And then I moved away from obviously there. And then I've been involved in all sorts of other small business ventures, helping small businesses grow, advising them,
Okay.
and also enjoying a good life.
The quality of life that we talked about. And Meeta, what about you?
I studied electrical engineering from Durgapur Art College,
Okay.
and and then after that I joined actually a thermal power station in Durgapur, because my
Okay.
parents they told me that we cannot live without you. You have to be there with us. And anyway, and I right now I find it interesting because I have actually visited the inside a boiler in thermal power station.
Oh.
I have seen a generator, the motor, whatever I have studied, actually I have seen it. I mean, that was a good opportunity. But the thing is, while that time I didn't understand that those things are also important. I will enjoy that, knowing them one day. But that time I used to think that I should work for cutting edge technology. And
Okay.
I used to love maths, and that time the computer science, the application of computer science, it was just coming. So my mind was always into electronics and computer science. I did some internship there. Then after I got married to this wonderful person, and then after my marriage, I got a chance to join the same company, Tata Automotive, Tata Locomotives, I think Telco.
Okay.
And there I joined the computer science department. In the
Oh.
interview, I showed so much interest that even the interviewer, they told me then and there, yes, I think we are going to take you to join because you have shown so much of enthusiasm. So I joined computer science and department. Yeah, I loved it. And then I came here, and here I have worked in big companies, mostly, which is, two of them are Oracle and Electronic Arts, with different capacities.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
development manager, project manager. And
So both of you are in technology, right? So.
I love technology.
Yeah.
Like, for example, even though I have left my job quite a while back to help my son
Yes.
in his studies. So just
Mobility.
a week back, I have started studying about artificial intelligence, data science. So I still love technology, and maybe I will try to do something
Something
in
in
that
that
future. I don't know. I've not yet decided.
So what, Sam, what motivated you, like, or what motivates you? Something like always like, oh, this is something I have to do. What excites you, like, in general, like for any, like new something happening or.
Yes, tying back to what I said is, self-improvement and all. You always, I believe in reaching the maximum genetic potential that I have, and no, it was more so when I was in college and this thing. So, it was always trying the new things or trying to radically change, my situation, and also, trying to see how best I could influence my environment. And that was there in every situation where I have been, and I've always tried that in my own capacity. Now, certain environments are much more conducive to this. In general, I would say that United States is much more conducive to this sort of thinking than India. Where there are people more, want to put you in your place. Say you stay here, you do what you're being told.
Yes.
Don't try to think too much outside the box. Whereas in the United States, they want people to think outside the box.
Yes.
They want you to leapfrog, and say, so if you are, making this much profit, you say, why can't I make 10 times this profit? And if once you're making 10 times, we say, why can't am I not making 1,000 times this profit? And that is one of the reasons why this country has grown exponentially, and it's really sort of it is leading the world,
So it provided you that like the soil to
exactly.
grow, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is really a land of opportunities.
Yeah.
And
So there is that the same with you, Vita? Like what motivates you in terms of, like you said about artificial intelligence, right? So what made you decide artificial intelligence? Like, or is it just like
That is again my philosophy, that learning something or achieving something, or maybe I will do something because I have got free time. I don't want to waste time.
yeah.
So I started. Another aspect is that my son will be studying computer science. So
Oh.
if I have to help him, I mean, it is again my optimistic, thinking that maybe he will have his own company, own project. Maybe that time I can help him.
Yeah.
But those are all in
Yeah.
general, just for learning something, that if an opportunity comes, then I am ready. Plus, I just like to know new things. That
So
is what motivated me.
so when you talked about
But right now, one motivation I also have, I am here in this country. We are first generation. I would like to see my family well established in this country, or some in general, that so that my family flourish over the
so
years.
that motivates
Yes,
you.
that motivates me
That's
a lot.
that you want the kids to settle well,
Yeah.
and then you want to provide them the support system, and then once that you said that if you are getting into the learning the new field, then you can maybe use the same vocabulary
Yeah.
as your son is using it when
In general,
discussing.
I want me for my kids to build a good life for themselves, and I'm trying to instill in them or supporting them.
Yeah. And I've seen that, Mita, you being a positive person, you bring positivity in others. So that's
Thank
actually
you.
that really helps.
Thank you.
That I think mostly it's hard, and that's what I want to ask you, Sam. Like sometimes, like you said about the football team, right? Sometimes when people don't get what they want, they get demotivated, and they get completely like, okay, no, this is not my cup of tea, or I can't do it anymore. So that's always hard. How do you, like, is there a piece of advice that you have for our young generation, that what if you don't get something that you want? What is it that they should, how do you come out of that?
Well, there are many ways of looking at that situation. I would not call it a problem. It's a situation, and one of the easiest way that I do is to break the final goal into smaller parts, into smaller chunks,
Okay.
and it could be chunks in terms of time. If it is a 5-year goal, you can break it up into, let us say, 6 month or half yearly sort of checkpoints,
Okay.
or you can break it up into completely different sort of systems. So, for coming back to the example of football, so you say, okay, I'm just making this up. I don't know about football at all,
Yeah.
but maybe there are 4 skills involved in football: catching, passing, tackling, and what else?
Running.
Something running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you break it up and you see and you benchmark yourself against where you want to be, and you see how I can individually sort of grow in all these 4 areas, and then do I need to do something to bring them all together, which means that should I join up with this sports team, this amateur sports team that's in my locality, and play with them, so that I do that, or do I need some strength in my shoulder and this thing, so should I start weightlifting? So break it up into small chunks instead of seeing it as the whole problem, like that huge thing looming in front of me, and see as to how I can sort of chunk it and conquer each part and bring it all together and try again.
Okay.
That has really sort of helped me and is helping me in many fields.
It's basically you splitting a question into smaller questions.
Yes, yes, and breaking it up and trying to get better at each and every sort of part, and then putting it all together. Like if you, let's say you are not doing well in electrical circuits, then you say think down. What in electrical circuits? How can I sort of get better? Is it the maths component that I'm not understanding? Am I lacking in more basic concepts of electrical engineering which are needed for this? Do I not am I not fast enough to solve problems in the test? Do I need speed? Or what? Or what are the elements? So you go into different elements and you try to attack them differently, like separately, and then sort of put them all together and try.
Okay. So breaking apart the problem into
Yes.
smaller problems.
Often that is a very sort of good way of doing it.
Okay.
Another thing that I always do, and which anybody I think should do, is to see others who have succeeded. What have they done right?
Okay.
And analyze them, put them under a microscope, and see where they started, what did they have, what resources did they have, and how did they succeed, and what did they do right, and how I can emulate that into my own practice.
Okay.
And you can find out, he succeeded in business, but he used to get up at 5 o'clock and he used to answer all his emails and everything. He used to get his work done by 9 o'clock. No, so five to nine, solid work of 4 hours. That's the thing. He did that, and then he went to office. So before he went to office, his actual main work was done for the day, and then he went to office. And so maybe that's something I can do.
So basically, finding role models.
Yes,
who
role
have done
models.
something in that field and reading
Absolutely,
about
that always helps.
Okay.
We often hear people say that work hard, you have to work hard. But unless you work hard in a structured way, or you understand what exactly you're going to put in effort, it is not of much help. And what do you mean by work very hard? You're not going to go up and plow a field, or you're not going to chop up a tree, or chop. That sort of working hard doesn't help.
Yeah.
So you need to find out, instead of saying that, think of working hard, finding out elemental things that you need to do, and find time and find a structured way of doing them and repeating them till you get better, until everything comes together.
All right. Meeta, what do you think about that?
Yeah, while he mentioned some of the practical approach, I will go through a general thing which actually I believe, and that has helped me. So if there is a failure, a few things you should do. I mean, I'm telling you, it is easier said than done, but if you can try, is that first of all, analyze why I failed, why that person, I thought he was worse than me, why he succeeded, I failed. Analyze the situation, but analyze it without losing the hope that I will correct the situation. Second thing is that just think whether is it your calling to play football, or are you doing it because others in your group doing it. Maybe you don't like football, you are just out of peer pressure, you are doing it. So check what is your calling. That is a way to understand yourself. Think through. I mean, it is not easy to understand yourself. Then instead of football, do I like music more, or do I like maths more? Maybe that is where which is called calling. So understand yourself, and after that also, if you think football, if you are really passionate about it, think that that 90% perspiration. Smart work in several in things. You need smart work as well as hard work. So hard work is necessary, of course. Structured hard work, just don't do it without discussing with others, with experts. Trust your parents also, they can show you how to do hard work. Or if you are probably a very intelligent person, you can do it through smart work. It depends upon the person to person, it varies. Another thing which really helps, I think it helps everybody, if you are trying to do something, try to be proud of yourself, of doing something. It has helped me, in few things I was not good at it, but the moment I started taking pride in it, I am doing, for example, driving. While I was in this country, I was not a good driver. So one day it suddenly occurred to me, okay, everything is driving, why can't I? So then I started feeling proud of myself that I can do at least this much of driving, and I started improving. So in other areas also, you have to be proud of yourself sometimes, that, oh no, I am at least fakely, no, I am a very good football player. So you should have that belief in yourself. I will make it happen if you're passionate about it. Then you ask for expert advice, how to approach it. and don't lose hope. Sky is the limit. You are still too young to become a great footballer. Who knows? So these are the few things you have to think through before you take action.
Yeah, and then
So
take
be
action.
proud, don't lose hope. Sky is the limit. And is it your calling? Is
Yeah.
it? Are you
And
meant to
then-
be a great football
and
player
then-
or a great musician?
And then once you decide what's your field, then you follow what Sam said, break it apart into smaller steps, and then
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. If it's music, then you want to take smaller steps.
Yes.
If it's football, then you're taking smaller steps.
Yes.
So basically identifying what you are actually passionate about or what you really want to do,
Yes.
right?
And anything you do, you have to put hard work, smart work. I mean, there is no alternative to those two things. You have to work on it.
Yeah, that is really nice, Sam and Neetan. This is going to help a lot of kids, I think, because sometimes it's hard to break apart, like, okay, what is it that we have to do, like, and we all face failure in life at different stages of lives, even as we are older. Then also sometimes these advice really help from a friend or from a senior or from a colleague. It really
Yes.
helps to understand, and I think it's going to be very useful. Thank you so much for coming. Had a great time
Thanks
talking
to you, Sanjana,
Thank you.
Yeah,
for giving
Thank
us the
you.
opportunity to tell something.
it was
about
great to see you and hear.
It was a pleasure, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Yes.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana, tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana, just tell Sanjana.